Oh, Ross, this time last week you ruled Mitch Owens out. How's he feeling?
He'll train fully today, so we're confident he'll get through. But and if he does, he'll play. So that's exciting for us. It's every team gets challenged, but obviously like next man in and all that. But Adelaide kicked a couple of kicking goals, and you've got to be so sharp. You blink and you miss the exit, and so he'll help with our front half. Hopefully Sharman and Butler are the week after.
What about Liam Henry?
Yeah, he'll train. Yeah, he's right in the mix. So we've got to get through training with a couple of them. But he's had a really long rehab, hasn't he? Like it's been like before the end of the year. So he had a couple of little hiccups, but fundamentally he was really fit and he had a lot of speed. But we just had to get his landing, his proprioception stuff. So he'd done 5 weeks of full game loads and full. But it's just that last little piece of movement just for injury prevention, and which we're getting frustrated with. But he got through that like 2 or 3 weeks ago as well. So it's just a decision, does he come straight back in or do we put him in the VFL? But he's certainly AFL fit.
Lot to unpack in the weekend. What's been the focus this week in the review and preparing for the Cats?
Yeah, well, there was lots of holes. There's always a challenge. But the analytics will tell you if you get rid of the emotion and drive in. Our pressure was really 17th and 18th for the round, so a bit about method and hunt. But outside of that, our exiting defence, which really we sat in the top 3 with last year, we gave up, before the end of the second quarter, 50% more than we'd give up in a game. So credit to the Crows, but disappointing method. So we've gone to school on that, and hopefully that's been in our DNA. We can just set the field and all those things better.
What did you make of the Cats last weekend?
Yeah, we had match committee yesterday. Look, I think they delivered, and I spoke about it going in our team meeting, just the pressure of Collingwood and Geelong, and just their numbers and their tackling pressure, and that just sets the tone and sets up the game, and So we know we're going to get a fierce contest. Obviously, there's a lot of noise around Bailey Smith, but they've got a lot going on down there.
Do you put any extra work into Bailey?
I think we have a look at him. Yeah, as Chris said, I always do enjoy Chris's presses, right? But I think I saw the quote, shout his name from the grandstand. So I'm not sure if at the end of the game, if they're shouting his name from the grandstand, we might be in a bit of trouble.
What else do you do to stop someone like Geelong after the performance they had last week?
Yeah, well, it's really like to be straight with you, you've got to fix your own game. So you can pull the opposition apart and know them inside out. We know they've got some great players like Jeremy Cameron, in particular front half, Stewart back half, merging mids, and really they were maybe one injury away, Holmes, from being in another grand final and potentially a premiership. Would be fair to say. So he's back in, and they've added Bailey Smith. So they're a real threat, right? But we played well against them, last year a couple of times. The year before we did okay. So we feel like we understand them, and we've got a method if you can bring it to life. But that's the challenge. Every coach would say that. But doesn't matter who you play. You've got to bring the hunt, bring the pressure, and then spread the ball really well, and make them defend and take out their offensive threats, which they've got a few.
Yeah. There's a couple of big names, obviously, you're still trying to get back. Can you give us an update on Max and also Tess?
And who else? Yeah, I can give you exact updates. So Max has made real ground. It was really frustrating because you had the full summer, that little incident, scanned everything, doctors, surgeons, couldn't. In the end, they went in and they just found a line of scar tissue attached to his old injury, so they just debrided it, and then it settled, and it's gone, the clunkiness he had, and he's full training, full movement. So now we're just conditioning him back. So it's going to be quick. It's going to be, is it round 4, round 5? One of those. Yeah. And then Mateus, really highly unusual injuries, stress reaction in the femur. Jack Stephen was maybe the only one here, but it never got to the full. I've never experienced one before. But they're all treated the same. The deload 6 to 8 weeks, and then graduated. So I think he's round 8 or 7. Same as Howard, who had the Lattiger. So, we feel like Sharman will be available next week, potentially Butler. So we're getting, particularly our front half, and you know, there's no secret Mateus was a booming young mid coming through. So, you know, we've got some great getters, but, you know, we love his speed and power.
It sounds like he was flying before the
Yeah.
injury. Are you confident he can pick that back up pretty quickly?
Well, I think it's going to take time. It's a hard industry. It's a hard business, and in the midfield, like, it's hard work, but he's a natural athlete. He's done the work, and then maybe it's managing his game time, but he learned some lessons going forward about managing himself a little bit because he's just such a hard trainer, like a lot of our guys. Thanks, guys.
The things you spoke about coming out of the Adelaide game were very unseen Kilda-like, right?
Did I say it? I can't remember.
Just about
The fifth quarter's hard to remember.
pressure tackling.
Yeah. Well, AFL-like, to be honest, yeah.
And Nick McGoy made a point this morning that bad losses in round 1, round 2, they happen, like, for whatever reason. And he said it's very easy to turn it around. Like, you can get back on the horse at this stage of the season.
Yeah,
Just your thoughts on that?
I didn't read Mick's article. I sort of tapped out of the media, but Mick's he is footy smart, and through social net, I know Mick, and everyone does, right? So he's a great footy brain, and he's got great experience, and I think it's got some real merit. I really like to win the first one. I think you get that monkey off your back, get that feeling that you're going well. So, but we have seen some teams turn it around, haven't we, quickly? So, and it's a real mindset business, so we've got to get our mindset right. But yeah, I didn't like what we dished up. I didn't enjoy it. I feel we are better than that. But, you know, to be clear, like, we want an environment that's safe to fail, but create excellence in learning, right? But you're only safe to fail if you're giving 100%, right? So that's probably the question mark where we're at. Like, some of the stuff where you're really mentally giving what you needed to. So we're happy to fail and it's safe and you learn. But it gets very confusing if we're not right at, you know, and at AFL level, it might be 3 or 4%, right? So that's what we're probably tuning into. Safe to fail, but make sure it's going 100%. Because I think coaches, players, teammates, family, and more importantly, our members and sponsors can respect that. But I think if they're looking at you're not concentrating, and it's controllable, questions should be asked. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.